Welcome back. Well, let's get a quick check on what's playing out in the commodity market. Now we have Halima Adedinro as an analyst, the senior analyst with Financial Derivatives Company. Great to have you, Halima. So we're seeing some movement there in the oil market. We're seeing Brent up about 1% earlier. What's driving sentiment now?
Okay, thank you for having me, Ladi. As I said earlier, the prices in the Middle East is becoming more intense than what the market expected in the beginning of the week. We see that there is an airstrike by Israel to Iran, and this the move by the US to douse the tension of the spillover of the conflict in Lebanon as it's a gridlock. So that is increasing the fear or concerns of traders in the global market as regards the supply of crude oil in the global market. And apart from that, when we look at the demand side, the US data that just came out recently showed that the economy stockpile of crude oil increased much more than what is expected. And as we all know that US is a large consumer of crude, this is giving trader a kind of reduced expectation in the demand side in the US economy. So that's why we are seeing fluctuation in the price of global crude oil.
But from all that's playing out in this oil market, it almost seems that it's tending towards weakness. That's for prices. Even though we see some rises here and there, there's always that big drop, like what we saw last week, about 7%. In the long run, into this, or in the short term, into this fourth quarter, do you see oil maybe sub 50 at some point?
No, I'm not seeing it going as low as that. But what would tell us the actual direction of the price in the near to medium term will be determined by the pressure or the significance of the intensity of the crisis. So if the US is able to meddle and make at least a peace or reduce the intensity of the crisis, we are likely to see a reduced price, because that means to some extent in the future, the supply is ascertained in the Middle East, which is one of the largest producer of crude oil in the global market.
Right, and we've seen the IMF, revise Nigeria's growth for 2024. How much of that is a risk for the currency? We're seeing the FX market, there was weakness again for the close in the official window, but there was some kind of appreciation for the parallel market.
Okay, so for the Forex, let's take that first. If you look at the official market, we'll see that it's almost flat, but we can call it like a depreciation. But in the parallel market, there's an appreciation of like a Naira to a dollar, which can relatively be called flat as well. So if we look at the data that was released recently, the H1 Forex inflow in Nigeria this year increased by about 45% to $8.9 billion, just because there is high interest rate. We have high interest rate environments now, and is increasing portfolio investment. So that's why we have that surge in the trade surplus. However, that might not be maintained if in the next few months we are seeing a decline in the interest rate. So that on the supply side of the Forex might be affected. So if we look at the revision of the IMF, this is the third one this year. In April, it was 3.3. And in July, the growth was revised downward to 3.1. And now it is being revised downward to 2.9%. So, and there are so many factors that are put into consideration to give this downward revision. One is the insecurity, and another thing is the flood that just recently happened. So it's going to, the body is saying that it's going to affect the supply and the ample agricultural produce that is meant to reduce the high inflation environment. And not only that, we are seeing some kind of douse optimism when it comes to oil production. Though Nigeria is planning to increase oil production to 2 million barrels per day from under 1.4 million barrels per day that we currently have. So all this, if this is achieved, we could see an increase in the inflow of dollar, which could make the IMF upgrade the growth target of the country.
All right, thank you so much, Halima. We'll keep tracking to see how it all plays out. Halima Adediro, Senior Analyst, Financial Derivatives Company. Thank you so much. All right, so right here, we're going to be joining a live coverage now, the Katsina State Roundtable discussion with development partners. That's happening at the Niger Plateau Hall, Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja. That's happening on DSTV. But all of this else is still live on all other platforms. I'll hand things over now to the Sunrise Daily team.